Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time here, then welcome. So for today's video, I wanted to do 10 things I hate about Montreal. My Montreal content tends to get a little bit more views, so I'm guessing that people want to know a little bit more about Montreal. So I'm going to list 10 things that I hate about Montreal, and if you like this video, then for sure the next video I can do is 10 things that I love about Montreal. Okay, so number one, the construction. It's too much. I don't know why, but it feels like every single year they're fixing something. Sometimes, I'm not even joking, sometimes you will see construction and then after how many weeks they will pack up everything, and I swear to you, they didn't change anything. Like, it's like pylons went up, nothing happened. Even one time this summer, they blocked off so much of my street and changed the roads to make it a one-way street and add a bike lane. And not even joking, after 1 month, they decided, you know what, put it back. So basically construction for no reason. There's always construction. Orange pylons everywhere. Every single summer. Which leads me to number two, the potholes. There are so many potholes everywhere in Montreal. I was enjoying having cheaper car insurance until I actually had to drive on the road here. Those potholes, the potholes that we have here, there's so many and they're so big that if you're really not paying attention to the road pavement, and sometimes you're paying attention and honestly you just don't see it, but you feel it, and I know your car feels it. Yeah, so the irony here is that the roads are always on construction here, but there's always potholes. So basically, doesn't make any sense. Number three, so what I noticed living here in Montreal and having lived in Ontario before is that in Ontario, you're not allowed to park on the streets. You will get a ticket, but you can call in your car. I think in certain areas you can call in your car 3 times per year or something like that. I don't know, but generally speaking, you're not allowed to park on the road. But in Ontario, the apartment buildings, they have parking lots that you can pay for parking. Over here, I noticed that not every apartment building has parking. So I was lucky for this building that I'm living in that they had underground parking and outdoor parking. But even the underground parking and the outdoor parking that they have, it's not enough for the amount of people that live in my building. I really got lucky. I was one of the first people to move here. But if you can't get underground parking or outdoor parking, you have to park on the street. But in Montreal, most places it's free to park on the street. As long as you follow the parking signs, most of the time you're okay. Parking in Montreal is generally free. Parking on the street versus parking in a private parking for your apartment building, there's a difference when it comes to safety and security. Like when I lived in Côte-des-Neiges in Snowden, we had a 1-bedroom apartment there. It was a good price. That building had underground parking, but it only had 5 parking spots. But the building had 25 units. So basically we were added to a long wait list to get parking. And until we get a spot, we had to park on the street. Not even joking, the first month that we were living in that apartment, my car got broken into. In fact, every car on the street got broken into because I had to stay there when people were calling the police about it. But every car on that street going up, it was on St. Patrick's Day, got broken into. So it made it clear to me that having indoor and outdoor parking for apartment buildings, it's nicer for the security reason as well. Because parking on the road, anything can happen. A car passing by could hit your car, a snowplow could hit your car, a garbage truck could hit your car, or somebody could just break into everybody's cars. So having parking there's a lot more security knowing that your car is on private property. It's not to say that nothing can happen, but it's a lot less likely. And it was clearly proven, given that the first month that I lived in that apartment, my car got broken into. So number 4, expensive parking tickets. I know, it's crazy, right? You would think that because they let people park on the street most of the time, that the parking tickets would not be an issue. But I have gotten a parking ticket here. You don't want to get a parking ticket here. It's like $85 for a parking ticket here. In Ontario, parking tickets are around like $35, $40. At the most, I think the most I've gotten is a $50 parking ticket. Number 5, confusing parking signs. I got my driver's license in Ontario, so granted, when I came here, I know how to drive, but the signs are a little bit confusing sometimes. They're hard to read, not because of the French, they're hard to read because they're ridiculously detailed. So because the city allows you to park on the street, they have time frames that you're allowed to. So for example, you're gonna see a sign that says on a Wednesday from December 1st to April 1st between the hours of 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. It's very specific. And because it's very specific, sometimes you don't read them right. Sometimes you're not gonna take a parking spot because you're really like, or sometimes you just assume that it's okay to park there because most of the time it's not. Like really and truly, on a Wednesday from December 1st to April 1st between the hours of 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. It's a very specific time frame. So most of the time you're not going to be in that time frame. So most of the time you just park. And sometimes you forget to read the details of the parking sign and you get a ticket. And the tickets are not nice. I have gotten a parking ticket here. You don't want to get a parking ticket here. It's like $85 for a parking ticket here. Sometimes they're just so confusing that you just get a ticket. So number 6, weird intersections. Driving here is really confusing. Yeah. The first few times I drove here, I thought I was confused because the signs were in French. So what I do is I follow my Google Maps, because with the map, it's showing me literally where I'm gonna go, regardless of if I can read the names or not, right? But here, what makes driving so confusing is that they put a lot of exits and entries to the highway extremely close together. So for example, you might be coming from here and for some reason you have to go there, but you have to cross 6 lanes of traffic in 15 seconds to get there. But the people coming from here are going that way. It's just unnecessary. Number 7, small highways. If you have driven on the highway in Toronto, you will know what I'm talking about. But here, the highways are generally 5 lanes. I don't know, I have to fact check that. Going off of experience, the highways are a lot smaller. But Montreal is kind of small. It's a little island, so that's understandable, but I'm not used to it. Number 8, you need a shovel in your car in the winter. This is a weird reason to hate Montreal, but the fact that I have to carry a shovel in my car in the winter, and the fact that I've had to use it to not only dig out my car, but my coworker's car and strangers' cars in the winter in the middle of the road is not okay. I don't like that. Number 9. If you look on my channel, you can clearly tell that I like seafood boil. I love Captain's boil, and I like to make my own shrimp boil or crab boil at home. It's so tasty, and we don't have anything here. I have tried, I've looked. Basically, I would have to drive 2 hours to Ottawa to go to Captain's Boil. We had a Captain's Boil in Montreal in 2018. We had it for a couple of months before I moved here, but moving on. And number 10, the last thing that I hate about Montreal, people are kind of rude. And I know that it's because I'm English and I don't speak French that sometimes sometimes I get attacked a little bit or bullied a little bit. And you know, I try not to let it bother me. It doesn't bother me a whole lot, but it doesn't necessarily make living here an enjoyable experience. People will not hide how they feel about English people here. They don't really care if what they say hurts your feelings or makes you uncomfortable. They're still gonna let you know that they don't want you to be here. And that's a little bit hard to deal with sometimes, you know, living somewhere that you know that people just don't want you here. But, you know, I try to stay positive, you know, just like I said in my video about living as an Anglophone in Montreal. They not paying my bills, so I'm just not gonna let people's opinions affect how I feel. Although this video is called 10 Things I Hate About Montreal, these are not big deals. Like, if I'm entirely, completely honest with you, I'm so happy living here. I love living here. So if you've liked this video, then give this video a thumbs up and I will consider making a 10 things I love about Montreal video. Thank you so much for watching. Please, if you haven't by now, hit the subscribe button. What are you doing? Subscribe. And thanks for watching. Bye. Hey YouTube, me again. I decided to cut back in while I was editing because I thought, why don't you add me on Duolingo so that we could practice French together? I'm having a hard time keeping up my streak because I have no motivation. So add me and let's learn together. Okay, bye for real this time.